Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we will talk about the topic My New Job for the B1 exam. So in this video, we will discuss things to consider when choosing a topic, how to choose the subtopics for your topic, how to prepare for the conversation, and lastly, some things to keep in mind. So let's start with things to consider when choosing a topic. We will start with language requirements. These are requirements that you have to keep in mind when choosing your topic and its subtopics. The language requirements for the B1 exam are use of future and past tense. So your subtopics must involve some sort of use of future and past tense where you have to talk about the future events or the past events that have happened. Next up, you need to be able to express preferences and give reasons. So you should be able to express what you prefer and why you prefer it. You must also be able to talk about time in English. So you should be able to talk about the duration of events or when something happened. And lastly, you should be able to talk about quantities and numbers in English, which involves the use of adjectives of quantities like many, a lot of, few, and other similar adjectives. So when choosing a topic and its subtopics, we must keep these language requirements in mind and try our best to incorporate these into the subtopics for our topic. So now let's talk about how would you choose your subtopics. As I mentioned previously, we need to make sure that we incorporate the language requirements into our subtopics. So for that, I've chosen the topic My New Job. And in this topic, we can talk about a lot of different things. But since we need to incorporate the language requirements, we will have to be a bit more careful with our subtopics. For that reason, the first subtopic that I've chosen is future plans at work. This subtopic will give you a chance to talk about future, which involves informing and predicting. So if the examiner asks you some question about your future plans at your job, you can easily use the future tense and talk about future in English. The next one is my job description. This will allow you to use the present tense and talk about simple routines and simple things in English. The next one is why I started this job, which will give you a chance to give reasons and make comparisons in English. The next one is previous work experience, which will allow you to talk about past tense and the past events in English. And lastly, number of hours at work, which allows you to use the adjectives of quantity as I mentioned previously, and it will give you a chance to talk about numbers and different quantities. So now that you know how to structure your topic form and how to choose your subtopics, let's talk about some things to keep in mind. First of all, make sure to listen carefully to the examiner and answer appropriately. When the examiner is asking a question, just make sure to listen carefully and understand what type of language or tense he is using. If the examiner asks you a question in the past tense, you should answer it in the same tense. So if the examiner asks you, what did you have for breakfast today? That's a past tense question, so you should answer it in the past tense. You will say, I had eggs and bread for breakfast this morning. You cannot say, I will have eggs and bread or I have eggs and bread for breakfast today. That will be wrong. So just make sure to listen carefully and answer appropriately. Next up, you should keep in mind that some general questions may be out of topic. So the examiner might ask you about your routines, he might ask you about the weather, or he might ask you some personal questions that are outside the topic. So just be prepared for that. Next up, try your best to engage the examiner in the conversation. This will show that you can speak English confidently and you're not afraid to talk. And lastly, to engage the examiner, you can also ask a simple question. So if the examiner asks you about your routines, you can ask him about his routines. That's a great way to engage the examiner and to show confidence. So that was a breakdown of the topic My New Job for the B1 exam. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll try my best to answer you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and also subscribe for more. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.